Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Friday, April 16th. Thank you for choosing to be here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We have a lot of gun-related news to start things off today. First, what happened last night in our near neighbor, Indianapolis, Indiana. There was a mass shooting at a FedEx ground facility right across from the Indianapolis International Airport, and now the suspect has been identified and named. NBC News confirmed that the person accused of the shooting is 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hull, who police say took his own life. There were 8 victims that were killed in the shooting, as well as 5 victims with gunshot wounds and 2 other victims treated by medics at the scene and released. As we learn more details, we will bring you those details online and on the air. In Canton, there's a woman who was fatally shot inside a Bob Evans restaurant this morning, and the police are now searching for that suspect. The suspect has been identified as 50-year-old Richard James Nelson of Canton, and he is wanted for aggravated murder in the death of Rebecca Jean Rogers, age 38, who is the woman who was killed this morning at the Bob Evans in Canton on Lesh Street Northeast. The man, Richard James Nelson, has been described as 6 feet tall, weighing 175 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes, and a photo of him is on WKYC.com. Police say that he is at large and considered armed and dangerous. If you do spot him, do not approach him. Police are asking that you call 911 immediately. Here in Cleveland, police have already released body camera footage from a fatal officer-involved shooting on Thursday, showing the events leading up to the suspect's death. We do have that footage on WKYC.com, but 3 News has elected not to air the moment that the officer fatally shot the person. The video does confirm that the suspect had a gun in his hand and pulled it out before the officer fired his own weapon. Officers were responding to a call from a citizen in the area who had said that this person had victimized the community time and time again. That's according to Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams. Police do say that the man who was shot and killed had warrants out for multiple felony offenses, including murder. The unnamed officer who shot him is a 10-year veteran of the force of the Cleveland Police Department, and a patrolman said in a statement. Cleveland Police Patrolman Association President Jeff Fulmer said that officer is a bit shaken up right now. This is a quote from Fulmer. "It's not a good feeling to have a gun pulled at you, and it's not a good feeling to have to use deadly force either. It's hard for officers, especially in today's climate." Tamir Rice's family is now asking the Justice Department to reopen an investigation into his death. Tamir Rice is a 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed by a Cleveland police officer in 2014. So the family has now asked the Justice Department to reopen that investigation. His family's attorney has confirmed to 3 News. The family sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland following President Joe Biden pledging to prioritize civil rights. Now, late last year, the Justice Department, under President Donald Trump's administration, said that it found the evidence in the case to be insufficient to prosecute it. As a reminder of what happened in that situation, Tamir Rice was shot and killed by a Cleveland Police Patrol officer, Timothy Lehman, who is a white person, on November 22nd, 2014. Tamir Rice, a black child. And this was after police received a call about a guy with a pistol, that's a quote, guy with a pistol, outside of a Cleveland rec center. Rice had been playing outdoors with a pellet gun, and officers said they didn't know that Rice was a child, and also that he was playing with a toy before he was fatally shot twice. In 2015, an Ohio grand jury did not charge Lehman, but he was fired in 2016 after an investigation showed that he actually lied on his application to become a police officer. And last month, an appeals court upheld that firing. No member of the Cleveland Division of Police was ever charged as a result of Tamir Rice's death. Talking about another shooting that happened this week, the fatal shooting of Dante Wright, 20 years old, right outside of Minneapolis in Brooklyn Center in one of the subdivisions of Minneapolis, has brought up the question about why he was pulled over in the first place. The question is, are there laws about hanging objects from car mirrors? And yes, there are. Minnesota is one of a number of states that make it illegal for drivers to hang objects from their rearview mirrors on the grounds that it could obstruct their view. Now, these laws have been the subject of strong criticism from civil rights advocates who say that police use them as a pretext for stopping black motorists. We know that Dante Wright was pulled over on Sunday by police in Brooklyn Center, and the police say that he was stopped for expired car registration tags, but his mother, Katie Wright, said that he called her just before he was shot and that he'd been pulled over because of air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror, which is why we're answering that questions about air fresheners today. Now, when the police tried to arrest him, they said after they realized he had an outstanding warrant, former officer now, Kim Potter, shot him. And based on the video, she said, taser, taser, taser. The city's police chief, who resigned, said that he believed that former officer Potter had intended to pull out her taser, but instead pulled out her gun and shot Dante Wright. Potter, the officer who resigned and who did the shooting in the matter, she's been charged with second-degree manslaughter. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers here around the globe in the U.S. and here in Ohio. These first numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, the total number of cases is now at 139,403,270. The total number of deaths is at 2,991,707. Here in the U.S., the total number of cases is at 31,535,800. The total number of deaths is at 565,695. We have 4% of the global population here in the U.S., but lead the cases and lead the deaths by a wide margin. Our percentage of the cases and deaths, though, we have seen slowly coming down. We now have 22.6% of the cases, down another tenth of a percentage point, and 19% of the global deaths. Here in Ohio, we've got the new numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. We've seen 2,003 new reported COVID-19 cases in the last day, and we now have an updated number of confirmed certified COVID-19 related deaths. That number is now 18,991 here in the state of Ohio. That's 74 more reported confirmed deaths since Tuesday. 151 people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in the last day. We've now got 1,301 people in the hospital being treated for it. And out of those people, 369 of them are in the ICU being treated. We've seen 15 new ICU admissions in the last day. Taking a look at the vaccination picture, more than 25%, so more than 1 in 4 of Ohioans have now completed their vaccination protocols. That's more than 2.9 million Ohioans and more than 96,000 people in the last day. Almost 37% of Ohioans have started the vaccination process, so that's more than 4.3 million Ohioans and more than 49,000 people in the last day. Now let's take a look at something that people are looking forward to. A lot of people, once they get vaccinated, and some people who already are vaccinated have snagged some of those inside tickets to the NFL draft. But the question for Cleveland Browns fans is, how does the Browns signing defensive end Jadeveon Clowney affect the Cleveland Browns draft plans? Well, potentially quite a bit here, because they've shored up that defensive line so they can move that just a little bit back in the priorities. But here's how things are shaking up according to our 3 News Sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. He says coming in 5th at linebacker, coming in at a 4th potential priority, wide receiver. This is one that's interesting to me, so we're going to dig into this one just a little bit. Next season, the Browns are set to return the top 4 wide receivers from last season. Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Odell Beckham Jr. will be back from that injury, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. The 5th, Kaderil Hodge, is still a restricted free agent. Now, OBJ's return from last season could definitely provide a boost to the wide receiver core, but according to Ben Axelrod, Cleveland could use some more downfield speed in its receiving core. So considering the Browns emphasizing the defense in free agency, using either their 1st or 2nd pick on a wide receiver might make some sense. That makes sense. Well, depending on how the 1st round shakes out, there could be some promising players in that wheelhouse on the board when Cleveland makes its pick at number 26 in round 1 of the NFL draft. Other possibilities, defensive end, defensive tackle, and cornerback. For all of that analysis, go ahead and go to WKYC.com and look for that article from our Ben Axelrod. Something you may have caught late yesterday, Kings Island Cedar Camp is opening in June. It's a $27 million luxury resort. Well, we've got your first look at it on WKYC.com. It's a year-round outdoor luxury resort and RV park. It's on about 50 acres of previously unused land that's about a mile from Kings Island. And officials estimate that the resort will welcome about 200,000 guests every single year. It's got 73 cottages and 184 full-service RV spaces. And reservations are available now if you would like to book that. So check out more for that on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And one reminder for you. We just launched the new show, It's All Good News. This is where I'm sharing all of your good news, stories that are guaranteed to make you smile, and only good news. And I think after this week, we could really use all of that, right? So that comes out every Wednesday at 1 p.m. But a big part of the show is your good news. So I need you to share that with me. Here's how you can do it. There are 4 different ways. You can just post online using the hashtag GoodNewsCLE. You can email me at goodnews@wkyc.com. You can send things through the WKYC app using the Near Me feature. It's very easy to do. The app walks you right through how to do it. And you can also text photos to 216-344-3300. 4 different ways to get us your good news. Please send it so that we can feature it next week. Again, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. is when your dose of It's All Good News will be coming out. That's it for today. I'll see you next on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. I'll see you tomorrow morning with a conversation about the future of the monarchy as we prepare to watch Prince Philip's funeral right here on Channel 3. And then I'll be back here Monday with more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone, stay safe and be well, and I will see you back next week. I'm Stephanie Haney.